Hey there, my name's Wendy, the face behind WendyWorkArt on Instagram. So today we're going to be working on step 3 in the process of making paint skin jewelry. So we already went over how to mix paint in step number 1 and then how to pour the acrylic paint to make a paint skin in step 2. So now today we're going to be going over how to actually cut out pieces for jewelry from the skin that we made the other day in step 2. So this is the pour that we did the other day, and now it's dry, I hope. I think it's been about a week actually since I've poured this. It might, I kind of talked about in the last video where sometimes if it's not 100% dry, that it might buckle in the punch that we're going to use. So we'll see if that happens. Okay, so what I do first is take a pair of scissors and I'll cut out all the extra around the actual pour. So I have easier access to the cool parts. And then I'm going to take one of my punches. I actually posted a video like this on Instagram maybe a week ago, but it was sped up. I wasn't talking in it, and it was with a different skin. And everybody was asking where I get my hole punches. So I can't believe that more people don't use these punches, and they'll actually glue the glass pieces down on their paint skin. You can do that if you don't have a hole punch, but I think it's so much easier. Then you know it's gonna look good. I don't know. It's just the way I like to do it, and it seems pretty efficient. Okay, so this is what the paint skin ended up looking like. Sorry if the lights cast a glare on it. Trying to make sure I have enough light down here. I'm in the basement, so. Okay, so what I do is I take these glass pieces, and I will list down below like where I get them. You can get them on Etsy and a lot of shops. You just have to put in the search bar glass cabachons, C-A-B-A-C-H-O-N-S, cabachons, and you can find a lot of shops that sell these. So I have 3 different sizes here. I have a 35mm, 25mm, and a 12mm for earrings, smaller necklaces, and larger necklaces. But you can get any size. I even started getting some rectangle ones right here. So these, I cannot find a punch for these, so these I actually have to glue down, which is fine, that still works. So what I do is I take the glass piece and I kind of go around on here and try to find cool spots that will look really neat as jewelry. So here's a good spot. If you can see that. So what I'm going to do, this is the 35mm, so I'm going to take this 1.5 inch punch, or 3.81 centimeters. I don't know if you're in doing the metric system, or I don't know why we don't all do the metric system. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to size up that spot and then punch it out, and there you go. So this size punch, 1.5 inch, is actually just a little big. I don't know if you can see that there's excess on the sides of that, but I just make sure I glue it on the spot that I really like and then cut around once it's dry, which that'll be the next step, is gluing the things down. So gluing the glass pieces down. So I'm going to continue. So I found that piece. Now what I like to do is find a spot where I can get earrings to match, if I can, if it's possible. So I take the small one, and then I look at this one for the necklace and kind of see, is this going to match? Is this part going to match? If no parts match, which it kind of seems like there's not really any parts that are going to match right here, then I'll kind of see if there's another necklace to be made. My smaller one. There it is. Actually, I think I can find some earrings right here. stuck to this. So there I punched one earring, potentially, because I still go through another process to see if I'm going to even use it. That'll be in the next process, the next step. And punch out another one, the matching earring. Okay, so then next I'm gonna do a smaller necklace. Might be kind of quiet during these parts because I'm concentrating. This is very serious work. So that part's kind of cool. I'm going to take my other punch, punch that out. So that one ends up looking like that. I want to make sure you can see this. Oop. So there you go. This is what the first one turned out like. Okay, so I ended up having to redo this part of the video because after I showed you those last pieces, I focused the camera to be up close and then did not refocus it to be back here. So then the whole rest of the video was blurry. So we're gonna do the second half of this video. So I had punched out some more pieces. So you'll see that there's a couple more pieces missing than when you saw last. Which is fine. So actually now we're closer to the center, which is good because the cooler stuff was in the center. So we'll do one more punch out on here because I think this part looks really cool. Yeah, because there's a little bit of lighter blue in there. So I'm going to take my larger punch. Sometimes if I put the punch on here and I'm not quite sure of it anymore, I'll take the big glass piece and put it in there and kind of try to find that spot again just to make sure that's what I want. Or I can move it around with the glass in there. So that's what I want. Take the glass piece out, punch. And see, so here it got stuck a little bit, so it didn't just pop right out. So now I kind of have to rip it a little bit, so you just have to do that slowly. There we go. So that wasn't too bad. All right. One more time, see if I can find some earrings to match. I think I can. Right there. Make sure that earring matches with this one. And punch. See that one? It kind of got stuck a little bit too. So that's what I talked about in the last video of like you have to make sure it is 100% dry, and it is dry, but it needs to be like bone dry, if that makes sense. So maybe like even the last couple days, putting a fan in the room where your paint skins are drying. You don't want to put a fan in there if you just poured, and then you need them to dry. Like let them dry with no air movement at first. Otherwise, the different paints that you use might dry at different rates, so then you might get cracking and grazing. But if it's already seems pretty close to being dry, then you can turn a fan on in the room for like maybe the evening, the night. So then you're gonna work on it the next day. Then you know that it's gonna be like bone dry, and it won't. So what happens here is now I have to rip that a little bit, and then what it does is it makes it kind of like wrinkle up near that spot. So as long as that doesn't affect, because you can kind of press it back out in most cases, but sometimes it does it really bad. You might have that happen where it gets like stuck, and then you have to like pry your punch open. That's not fun. So just make sure they're dry. That's the moral of the story. Okay. Oh, I made another pour after the last one in the last video, after I was done recording with the same colors. So, and that one turned out like this. The reason it turned out looking quite different than this one is I think what I did was I poured more of each paint. So what I mean by that is I poured more blue in the cup and then more copper in the cup. So it made like thicker lines rather than on this one, the lines kind of, I mean, there are some like where the blue, you can really see the blue's dominant there. But putting even just more paint in there at a time, if that makes sense, gives you this look, which is pretty cool too. You can find good jewelry out of either of these kinds. So that's how we make paint skin jewelry. The skin part, how you punch out the different pieces that you're going to use for the jewelry. In the next one, we're going to be gluing them on. So make sure if you like this video that you like this video. Make sure you turn that little thumbs up blue. I would love it if you'd subscribe and hit the bell icon so then you're notified when I post another video. I'll be making, I think there's going to be 4 more in this series of how to make the paint skin jewelry. So this was number 3, and I think I'll post the next one in a couple days here because the next one won't take me that long to record, so the next video should be up pretty quick. So until next time, keep pouring, and I'll see you later. Bye.